Hey Lucas, I just want to. I'll do a little video to kind of go over what we were experiencing the other day, or what you were experiencing, and what I found out. And I'm gonna just kind of take this opportunity, like I always do, to kind of cover a couple other things. So this was the survey, and what we were running into was when you let's see if I have this field book, and what we're running into was when we were creating the terrain, that you were able to go in the edit model. We were trying to you went into delete triangles, and of course you can't delete them initially. I just want to give you a little kind of heads up. You can't delete them initially. You have to do something else. But in 2023, you're not going to have to do that. The newer versions have built a mechanism so you can go directly to from the field book to create the terrain and then go into editing. But in the version that you're on, you have to go here to the field book area and deactivate the survey processing rules. So once you deactivate the survey processing rules, then you can get into the terrain. You can select it, and again, the problem that you are having that you were showing me yesterday is you can get in here and you could delete some triangles, but you were trying to delete these down here, and they basically wouldn't delete. So I wanted to just look a little bit closer into this area here. So I'm gonna kind of get out of here. And actually, while I'm here, I want to kind of run it to show you something else. So then another thing that we were going over in our meeting was that, when you first created this, I was like, okay, can you delete that and create it again so that I could kind of see it? So I'll tell you, I've never done this, so I just learned something new here. If we delete this terrain, and then you go back to the survey to go ahead and recreate the terrain, what we were experiencing is it's not showing up. So in the strange part is in the OpenRoads model, you could see that it actually has a terrain, but nothing is showing up, and we're fitting the view, we're checking levels, and nothing's showing up. So it was just strange that I had never experienced this, and it's because of the workflow that I had never, gone and deleted the terrain and then gone to survey and created a terrain and not have it show up. Well, what I found out is uh, I guess it's the nature of the parent-child relationships between in this version between the terrain and the field book, that it's because the survey processing rules were turned off. Again, this early all the earlier versions you had to do this. The latest version you don't. But if you ever once you go back and work with the terrain and you delete the terrain, if you want to recreate it, you have to reactivate the survey processing rules. Of course, that reprocesses the survey. But what will happen is if you do have a terrain, then it actually gets created. So there's something about the survey processing rules in these earlier versions that if they're deactivated, it's inhibiting the create terrain model functions. So anyway, that's that. That sort of solves the mystery of why we kept deleting the terrains. Clearly, it wasn't in there. Then creating it, and clearly it was in there, but we couldn't see it. So it had to do with the survey processing rules here. So before I get into that, I want to kind of cover something else that kind of hits another question you had, disrelated to the terrain, but it ultimately ties into it, and it's where my mind went when I first really had a moment and kind of looked at this. Yeah, if we delete the terrain, just to kind of get it out of the way, the first thing that I noticed when I opened this up without the terrain, and I don't have the raw SDR file, so I'm just looking at the OpenRoads Survey Field Book information. So I started looking at this line. What is this line? Crisscrossing. Going from this edge to that edge. Clearly, in my mind, when I see that, that's a problem. That should probably not be there, but I had to, oh, of course I had to investigate it and see what was going on. So if I go down here and, well, if I select this, you can see if I select this, it's obviously going from there to there. That's a heck of a long way, probably inappropriate. And then I see this arc PC as the last shot. Again, that's a flag. So what I did was I kind of just zoomed. This is sort of what I did as I opened this file up and I looked at this data. I went down into this area here, and I'm seeing this null share point, which is kind of common for something that that it doesn't understand. That there's no point feature definition to actually place something. If it doesn't have a if the code doesn't have a point feature definition mapped to an element template, ultimately, it's going to place this null share point. But the thing that kind of caught my eye when I started looking at the properties is the code is NT. You don't have a code NT. And the other thing is I looked at the point name, and the point name is 3937 underbar 2, which kind of goes to your other question about what about these underbar ones? Are they legit or not? So then, again, just evolving, like looking at this, so if I go to the analyze and turn on the point names, sure enough, I see a 39.7, and I know what's happening here in terms of the point numbers. There's probably a 39.37. There's a 39.7 underbar 1. I can see the muddy text. And then there's a 39.37 underbar 2. So there's 3 shots here. When we were talking yesterday, I was giving you illustrations or examples where there would be 2 point numbers representing the same coordinate value. Well, in this case, you have 3. So again, I don't have the SDR data, so I couldn't really dig into that. So I'm just kind of digging deeper into what I see here. If I look at the codes, again, the codes are mud. There's clearly overlapping codes here that are representing this point. So kind of going a step further, if I pick this, I see that it's a line ending to the PC. If I turn on so the point numbers, it's 3937. So let's kind of analyze this this first chain here, and I'm just selecting it, waiting for that fly out menu, and going out over to this edit point features, which will force open the survey details and let us look at this string or this chain. So if we look at this here, you'll see that this string or this chain starts at 3315, and it's kind of walking along. So that's if we kind of zoom out here, you'll see that it's actually something up here, and they shot this here, and then clearly it just shoots down there. A problem, this shouldn't be shooting down there, but it's just this chain up here, and it's just walking itself down, from 3315, to let me just move this out of the way. You can see these this indicator that I have on. If you right click in here and turn on the locator, I have the locator on, so it's putting this sort of transparent purple ball here, where I'm selecting. So what it's doing is it's just walking down here, until it gets to the end, and then it just shoots down to this 3937. And it has a link code of a arc PC. Again, that's this jump into this higher range of points, and this arc PC that's clearly a flag, even though it still has the right code, 52, for that. So looking a little bit deeper, my knee-jerk reaction is this 3937 is just a bogus shot. It shouldn't be there. It's coming from some duplication. So then let's looking a little closer here. If we look at this string, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, just keep in mind that if you pick this string, it's the way the software works. If you pick this string, it doesn't automatically fill this in. It doesn't automatically change this. We're still looking at this other chain here. So you have to force it in there by going to the flyout and going to the edit point features. So go into edit point features, and we look at this string. you'll see that it's starting here. So there's a 3937 underbar 1. And then it goes 3938, 3939. So it's walking itself up here. So this was the first shot. So what I'm seeing here and expecting is that this 3937 underbar 1 really is the first shot of this string, and it probably should be, because this is a start code, and that other, this other end code was on this one was an NT, that this is or a PC, that this is probably a start on a PC. So look at this kind of a little bit further. So that's the 3937. 3937 is coming from this string here. It's a PC, and then this string has the 3937 underbar 1. So that's a start. So to me, what I'm seeing is that this point here, this on the end of this 3937 ArcPC should be deleted. This should be deleted, and this start on this string, the start on this string here should be a start PC. So that's the whole underbar 1, under the 3937 and 3937 underbar 1, and that was the example I showed you yesterday. Is if you do traditional inroads coding, where you say, your field code is 52 space ST space PC, it's going to put 2 points there. It's going to call one, the start of 52, and it's going to call another one the PC of 52. And that's what's causing this one to kind of wrap around from that other area and kind of close back in on this. So what should be happening here is this point here. Again, I would just make sure I'm on that. This point here, this should be trashed. I would delete this shot. Okay, so delete that item there, and then this shot really should be. Get into this one. This should be a start PC, because that's really how that was coded. You could verify it by looking at the SDR file. So that should be a start PC. So what happens is that ends up closing off that crazy string that was shooting across there. But if you look at this, there's still something else going on here, because there's still, let me close this for a second. There's still another shot here, which this underbar 2. So if we go to that shot, it's an NT. So I mean, this is something that you're going to have to diagnose. But there's an NT shot there. It's almost as if that 3937 was a code 52 space ST space PC space NT. That's what my guess is. Now, I don't know that I'm seeing this string as a non-tangent. I have no idea why that's being coded as an NT, but that's what my suspicion is. So again, going back to this, what I'd be doing is this is not serving any purpose at all. So this thing just needs to be deleted. That point, 3937 underbar 2, if I was working on this, I'd just get rid of that. That's nothing but just like a problem. There's no code NT. I don't know why it's in there. And then to kind of really clean this up, I would be taking this this shot here, which really all those underbars came from, I'll say, improper coding. I just take this off, because this really should be 3937, and just name that what it's supposed to be. So this is the way that I see that this one point here needs to be mopped up. Now, if we kind of take a look at the original question, which now I'll say just cut to the chase, it resolves itself. So if we have this and we go and create I'm just going to make sure, yeah, I don't have there's no terrain in here now. It's just empty. So if I go and create this terrain now, you'll see that this single break line is not going to form triangulation along because it's just one string. You can't have a terrain with one string in it. So now this is what your triangulation looks like. And if you now if we go to, remember, we have to deactivate the survey processing rules to get into the terrain. So if we go to the terrain, edit model, select delete triangles along a line, select the terrain, and now we get in there and delete terrain. Now these things will delete. So the problem really was that there was a break line shooting down in there that was sort of forcing the removal of those triangles, for some reason, but now you have full access to, deleting this thing and kind of cleaning it up. So, what this is, I'll say this is falls right in line with, and you wouldn't have experienced this if you stick to your guns as far as the way that I process this data is, you don't do three-dimensional work until the two-dimensional stuff is cleaned up. Like in this case, it was, I would have never experienced this because I would have gone in and cleaned up the two-dimensional stuff first and saw that there was some inappropriate line work. I wouldn't have played. I know you were just playing around, but this is a lesson learned, is don't try to get in there and clean up the terrain unless you've got the two-dimensional stuff cleaned up first, all the line work. If there's inappropriate line work, clearly there's going to be three-dimensional problems. And in this case, it was inhibiting the ability to delete those triangles. So number one, get in there and clean up all the planimetrics that you can. Look for those underbars, underbar 1, underbar 2, and just make sure that they should or shouldn't exist. If it's dual feature coding, they should exist. If it's dual link coding, or in this case, triple link coding, yeah, you're going to get underbars 1s and underbars 2. All that should be mopped up. And then go ahead in and create the terrain and go ahead and clean up the terrain. So hopefully that answers, well, it does answer the questions that we kind of were looking at yesterday. So if you have other questions, just let me know.